chosen the side. Right. When you're setting up grips, setting in the ground, and you're gonna you need to pick it up. You're gonna set and pick a side. Okay, right? Even when I'm here, I step to the side. How much more dominant?
Yeah, you're on my center line.
And how can you center up with me without doing what? Center up first. What are you gonna do?
I gotta turn.
What happens to your feet?
There you
If you need to center up with me,
I have to lift the one foot off the ground.
you get heavy on one foot and light on the other, right? So if I'm picking this side, you take a step towards me, what do I know? I know this leg's not going anywhere, right? You take that step backwards, no, this one, you take that step backwards, I know that that foot has all the power, so before that foot hits the ground, I can easily foot sweep or anything of that nature. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or I can cover it with my other foot. Alright, so I can be here. Right, if you try to square up with me,
I fall a lot.
does that make sense? Now, they go to the other foot, they take a step towards you, pick it up. Right? So when you pick a side, doesn't matter how you do it. From here, they try to square up with you. You know they have to take a step.
Yeah.
Right? When you know that they have to take that step to come towards you or away from you, you know they're only on one pivot point. Does that make sense? I'm gonna try. So we did the same thing standing. We're gonna do it right here.
Okay.
Right? Side, side, picking a side.
Okay.
Right? What am I doing? Picking a side is always important.
Okay.
When you're flat, you're dying. Right? This is not good.
No.
I have very little power over you. Right? But when I'm here, right?
Breaking my posture.
I'm going to take that posture and I'm going to gain my own posture. You see how I'm here now?
Yes.
See how I'm off to the side? I've chosen a side. Come to fight me.
Yeah, but isn't gonna work very well.
Right? Why? Because I've increased my ability to fight you because I have 4 things to your 2 things. Right?
Put my head below my hips.
Even just pushing you away, right? And I'm like, whoo! How easy is it for me to come on top? Right? If I wanted to stand the fuck up, disengage and come back in. So, always choose a side.
Okay.
That's today's lesson. You'll see it in every position.
The thing you keep yelling at me.
I know. That's why we're covering it. Right? So if I'm here, I'm not trying to do sweeps and stuff like this. See I'm flat?
Yeah.
I'm going in here. What have I done?
You pick the
I
side.
pick this up. Always pick a side. So, I want you to get in the guard position. I want you to pick a side and see how it increases your movement.
Okay.
And where it limits it.
Okay.
Okay? Track it? Track it. Alright, give it a go. Prior to standing, right?
Okay.
Picking a side. Alright? We just did guard. Alright? Where we pick a side. You think I'd ever do a half guard where I was flat?
No.
No.
You're gonna pick the side.
Pick a side. Right? Side control. This will be our next one.
Wait. You're in side control. Did you already pick a side?
Nope.
No.
You picked a side, doesn't mean I did.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So you're on a side.
Yeah.
Right? So you're here. Right?
Okay.
I have to pick a side. I can choose to go away,
Top half or bottom half?
or I can choose to come in. Right? Depends on where the control is on my body. Right? If I turn away, my hand's here. Do you think I cannot get away?
You or in general?
In general.
I mean,
So I'm on top. All you have is waist control now, right?
yeah.
So if I come up and I start sitting,
Yeah.
right? So choosing a side is super important. If I stay here and I sit flat and I try to fight when I'm flat, I'm weak. Right? As soon as I choose a side, I gain power. So even if I'm turning the other direction, I get in, I choose, right? Picking a side.
You gotta teach me that one.
Well, that's super basic. I'll teach it to you right now. Ready? Take your side control. Right? If I weave my hand in,
Okay.
Now there's nothing to stop my rotation of my shoulder.
Okay.
Right? So I'll start to press up, turn. Right? See how I've started the running man? See how my hips could do this? I could run.
Okay.
When I'm running, I'm going to continue to run. I'm going to keep control of the head. I'm going to shut them up.
Okay.
Tracking?
Cool.
Cool. Covered standing, covered guard, covered side control. We don't need a cover mount. Mount's the same thing as side control. It's just a shittier side control is a shittier mount. Right? Now, we're going to do the same thing on the back. We're always going to pick a side. How do you escape? Right? I either escape to one side or the other. I'm not escaping like this. As soon as I pick a side, that's easy to escape. If I stay in line with him, right, and I start to extend myself, I am trapped, right? The more he can keep me on his back, on my back, and we're maintaining chest-to-chest contact, he should win this, except he has bad bones. I'm gonna swap him out. Old man syndrome here.
Dislocated rib that is healing.
Old man syndrome. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm not smart.
So if I'm here, right, I do not want to stay chest to chest or chest to back, right? I want to pick a side, right? You will see the most common occurrence of like breaking this connection by feeling and getting your back to the mat. This is how people talk about it, right? But all I've done is rotated in this person's golf, right? Cool, it works. What have I done? Taken my back, got it off of his chest. Everyone's tracking. Now the only downside to this, doing exactly this, is he can come on top, right? And regain chest-to-chest contact. And this isn't great, right? So when we're picking a side, let's go back. Alright, so when we're picking a side, we want to own things on the side that we're picking, right? So if I'm here, he tries to come up on top now. Who's pinning who here? I'm literally just holding his elbow. Right? So, when we pick a side, we're going to reinforce what we do. Whatever side we're going, that we're adding rotation in. Right? Even if we're picking this side, pinch my hands down. Right? I'll clear the leg. I'll start to rotate. All of these have the same core, right? If I try to do these and I don't pick a side, right? I'm gonna own this dude's elbow. I'm gonna get to my back. And then I'm like, wait a second. I'm gonna clear this leg. Let's say I clear it, right? I'm still not clear. He's got a very easy avenue, and his hips are free to move, travel. Now I sit down, right? Now I work. Now it works a little bit, right? Why? Because I added rotation. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions on that? Cool. Work that. Pick a side. You did this, right? Where we pick a side, right? We did it from guard, right? We said, oh, shit, guard there. Oh, but pick a side, right? We were shooting in half guard. We picked a side, right? They passed because we picked a side too hard, and we were like, I committed, and they crashed. Oh, right? And then we picked a side again. Right? Well, we picked a side, and we were like, I'm gonna ghost escape. We got super shitty, and they took our back. They just picked us up and said, shoot that shit. Right? Boom. So I picked a side again. Alright. So even here, I'm gonna pick a side. Right? I'm gonna come here.
Oh, okay.
My hips should not be directly in line. Our spine should not be in line. Right? If I take a side, his legs are gonna want to break already. Right? Then I can start to dominate the position. We're in side control, right? I want to control him. What am I starting to do? Starting to force a side. Starting to force limb isolation. I'm now picking a side. I'm now picking a side, right? I pick a side. Let's say I got a little overzealous with this, right? He's like, I'm gonna shove him off. Right? And I'm like, oof, mount. We don't do mount head on. how do I bring things to fight, right? I have to add rotation. That means I have to pick a side, right? The only thing that you don't need to add rotation with, what we call collar chokes and stuff like that. Does that make sense? Right? So, even those get amplified when we add rotation. So if I was to hold this, right, just like so, and not even drop it, right, and I take my body, I come over this way. That's a big way of showing rotation, right? But that is rotation. That's me picking a side. You don't have to do that to pick a side. That's the same thing. I've now picked a side. I can drop it easier. I can control head. Boom. So, picking a side does not work strictly defensively. It works aggressively as well. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. Let's do some positional.